Good morning. Today is Tuesday, May 19th. This is our assignment calendar for today. For reading, we are going to be continuing Unit 4, Lesson 1 by reading pages 16 through 17. Excuse me. Which is Waves on a String. So yesterday we read about water waves. Today we'll read about waves on a string. Your assignment is going to be to create an illustration or a picture or diagram explaining waves. And for writing, your activity is imagine that you are a piece of matter riding on a wave on a string. Explain what happens as you experience the wave traveling through you. And this is on page 18 of the assigned reading today. So if I just click on the link, it will direct me to the PDF document of the reading. It looks like this. Remember, as we read, we are going to be looking for information to help us create an illustration and to write about being a piece of yarn on a string. This is the second part of lesson 1, Waves on a String. You just learned about a wave that moves along water. Can you think of another example of a wave? Waves on a string move in a repeating pattern. So yesterday we read about waves in water and how they move in a circular pattern. Today we're going to learn about how string waves move in a repeating pattern. Another example of a wave is a wave that travels along a string. A wave on a string also has a pattern of crests and troughs, like the water waves. To make a wave on a string, take a string and lay it on the ground. Have a friend hold one end in place while you hold the other end and shake it back and forth to the left and right. I challenge you to try this. This movement creates a pattern of crests and troughs. The crests and troughs move down the string, away from your hand. So they will move towards your friend who's holding one side of the string at rest, while you move the other side. This movement creates a pattern of crests and troughs. The crests and troughs move down the string, away from your hand. Your hand makes new crests and troughs behind them. So, there is a repeating pattern of crests and troughs moving along the string. Since the crests and troughs move along the string, the waves move along the string too. There are many other examples of waves on a string. For instance, waves on a string are common in many musical instruments. When someone plays a guitar or violin, waves travel along the string of the instrument together. Together, they make the vibrations you see in the string. And here's one illustration that shows a wave on a string. It says, when you shake one end of a string, a wave travels along the string away from you. The wave is made of a repeating pattern of crests and troughs. And you can see when you have the string, your friend holds it over here, and you put your hand over here. When you stretch the string along the dotted line would be in rest position. It's not moving at all. But once you shake your hand left and right, back and forth, it will create the wave of crests and troughs and crests and troughs. Remember, the direction of the wave is it's moving away from your hand toward your friend who's holding it at rest position. Matter in waves on a string moves side to side. So remember, the waves in water move in a circular pattern. These waves move side to side. In a wave on a string, the matter is the string. The matter does not travel with the wave, just like in a water wave. To understand how the matter moves, think about shaking a piece of string side to side. The wave travels along the string away from you. But the string does not also move away from you. Instead, the string stays in your hand. You can also see that the matter does not travel with a wave by tying a piece of yarn to the string. When you shake the string side to side, The yarn also moves side to side, but it does not travel along the string. It stays in the same place that you tied it. You could tie the yarn near your hand, and the yarn would move side to side, but stay near your hand. You could tie it in the middle of the string, and it would still stay in the middle of the string. You could also tie many pieces of yarn to the string. You would see that each piece of yarn moves side to side, but that they do not move closer together or further apart. They do not move along the string either. Just like the yarn, the matter of a wave on a string moves side to side, but stays in the same place. And you can see that in this diagram. It says the matter of a wave on a string. There's the yarn on the string here, depending on where your hand is shaking it. It says, in a wave on a string that has a piece of yarn in the middle, the piece of yarn does not travel with the wave. It only moves side to side. The matter of a wave moves in the same way. So you see the trough and crests, but the yarn stays, and when it moves to the bottom, it's still there. Using what we read today, you, for your writing assignment, are going to imagine that you are a piece of matter riding a wave on a string. Remember, the matter is the string. You might be part of a ribbon or a rope, so you might be part of the string, or you might be a yarn that's tied to it. Explain what happens as you experience the wave traveling through you. Write a paragraph that includes these terms: waves on a string, pattern, and side to side. Make sure to explain how both you and the wave move. So you're explaining how the wave is moving, but also how you, the matter on a string, are moving as well. For your reading assignment, you are going to create an illustration explaining waves. The illustrations that we saw in the reading today will be helpful to you when creating your own illustration. So looking back at the reading, there was the wave on a string and the illustration of the matter of a wave on a string. Remember to look at those when making yours to explain the waves. If you have any more questions, please ask your teacher.